Why am I obsessed with peace? The story goes back to my early childhood. In China, I was born there to Korean immigrant parents. At that time, Mao Zedong and Chiang Kai-shek were seriously committing themselves to a civil war. In that war, in the absence of sophisticated weapons, they used sickles, machetes, bamboo spears to tear apart one another's stomach, one another's bellies. It was gruesome, incredibly inhumane scenes. I raised the question to myself, why are they like that? Why do they kill each other like that? Then soon I found myself in Korea, where my parents moved back at the end of the Second World War. In Korea, I found myself in the middle of yet more brutal warfare for 3 years. It's called the Korean War. There were massive airstrikes producing mounds of human bodies. I had to live through each day for 3 years. That's why I became enormously obsessed with peace. I thought someone like me must do something about it. Came to the United States, tried to find the ways. It's not easy. But it's so important for us to know where we are. Today, killings happening all over the world. This time, using much more mechanized tools like precision-guided missiles, even drones, much dehumanizing killing itself. In the name of collateral damage, we have a mass number of innocent people are being slaughtered. Why are we doing that? The question has never been answered to my satisfaction until today. We are like this. We kill each other because of the common disease all of us are infected by, and that is the disease called development. Development is a global, universal disease. Everyone is addicted to that. What is it? Development is all about money, all about accumulating monies more than your neighbors. When you have more money, you feel like you're in a position of domination, control, and power. That's why we are trying to get there, and social competition is intense. You have to win, otherwise you might die, because losing is worse than death in this environment. That's why we're killing each other. So here, look at the cases like South Korea. South Korea has been a staunch ally of the United States for 70 years. Now, in recent years, South Korea has become more important, perhaps more important, economic alliance. South Korea purchases more weapons from the United States than any other country in the world. How many of you knew that? So proliferation begins there. Weapons. America made weapons through second-hand, third-hand, all over the world. North Korea is being used as a scapegoat. South Korea has to justify such a huge military spending with which to purchase weapons of mass destruction and everything else. Needed a scapegoat. North Korea is a very, very handy and useful scapegoat. We have tried to denuclearize North Korea, failed. We used the sanctions economic, financial, security, political, all kinds of sanctions and isolation tactics. It didn't work. North Korea has become a nuclear state. It has scores of weapons, and we expect North Korea to have more than 100 nuclear bombs within short 5-6 years. We failed denuclearizing North Korea. Why? The strategy was wrong. Maybe we were not interested in denuclearization after all. We enjoyed North Korea being very nice scapegoat to justify military spending in South Korea and in the United States. So the result is proliferation of weapons. North Korea is in fact succeeded in being de facto nuclear power. More than that, North Korea is selling weapons all over the world. How many of you knew that North Korea is weapons exporter? North Korea sells scores of missiles, short-range missiles especially. The market is huge. So here, weapons proliferation by the United States, good guys, by bad guys like North Korea. They're exporting weapons all over the world. The world is saturated with weapons. If you have money, you don't have the whole lot of money. There are second-hand, third-hand weapons all over the world. And in the process, the economy of global society has made the world distributive injustice in that you have a polarization of wealth. Those people who are in the wrong end of the polarization, they experience dehumanization, ridiculed, politically isolated, marginalized their life condition is. So many of them want to get out of that, and many of them want to do something about. They become revolutionaries. There is the nursing ground for terrorism and terrorists. Once terrorists are formed, they have a social media, they have a structural violence, they have a lot of people struggling in the poverty zones in the world. So here we don't seem to have a way of dealing with the growing terrorism. We don't have a recipe, nor do we have tools to work with. The toolbox called the security paradigm is exhausted. Use the economic, political, propaganda means, all that didn't work, will not work. We need new way of doing things. We need to have a new toolbox. It's called the peace paradigm. What is peace? Peace is not the absence of conflict. I can say it again. Peace is not the absence of conflict, nor is it ceasefire. Peace is harmony. Harmony is oneness made of diversity. If you have uniformity, only one instrument, you cannot have orchestra. One voice, you cannot have a choir. Harmony is not unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Here you have diversity as a prerequisite condition for peace. It's good to have diverse civilizations, diverse cultures, political ideologies, institutions, even ways of life. It's beautiful to have diversity. In the name of development, in the name of civility, we try to make all the world the same. One size fits all. Try to make a uniform, homogeneous global society. It's wrong, misguided. Because of that, we're killing each other like mad. How can we make a peace out of diversity? Through communication. Communication and dialogue. Communication is the exchange of ideas, values, beliefs, and norms, convictions, rather than just the exchange of facts. Through communication, we enhance mutual understanding. In fact, understanding is the goal of education, the purpose of education. It's not agreement, it's not consensus what you want. Through communication, we get to know each other very well. We become more aware of the fact that the world is diverse. I may represent one aspect of the diversity, so I become more humble. The virtue of humility will set in peaceful world. Communication, exchange of ideas, dialogue. When people get together for so-called forging peace, negotiated settlement, they don't talk, they don't dialogue, they don't exchange different values. They try to expand their sphere of their size of the cloth. One size fits all. How can we promote this communication capability? Through education. We have to redefine, in a way, the function of education to be enhancing communicative capability. Through the education of total personhood, body, mind, spirit, and soul, all these different properties of mankind can be enriched and promoted. Thus, they can communicate better. In the end, education will produce a person that can be more capable of communicating and thus part of the harmonious whole. If we can do that, we have tomorrow, we have the future, not only for us, but for our future generations. In the end, in peace, we can live together. In security, we die separately. Thank you.